Welcome to the Blue Cafe. We offer stories of infidelity, betrayal, and redemption. Please like and subscribe. Cheers. Now, on to today's story. AITA for not accepting my sister's relationship with my ex despite her having cancer as a teenager? Not the a-hole. My 25F father married my stepsister's 23F mother when I was 4 and she was 3. We've lived together most of our lives and are a family. She and I were extremely close. She developed cancer when she was 14 and was sick for about 2 years. She's since made a full recovery. During that time, my parents became understandably overprotective. They also asked a lot of me. I quit my extracurriculars so I could get a job. The money went towards her medical bills, and so I could drive her to appointments. I didn't go to dances, and any fun activities I did needed to include her. I did almost all of this willingly, the exception being having to quit my high school volleyball team. I did throw a bit of a tantrum about that, but was swiftly punished. And I think having one emotional breakdown was pretty chill given the circumstances. Anyhow, I go to college and meet my ex, we'll call him Ben, when I'm a junior. We fall in love, blah blah blah. He and I move in together when we graduate, so we've been living together for about 3 years. We were serious until July when I walked into my bedroom and saw him ducking my sister. I broke it off, tears were shed, he moved out, etc. My sister apologized at first but then backed off. I thought she was giving me space, but last week she called and asked if we could meet up. She told me that she and Ben were in love and were just telling me as a courtesy before they started posting photos online. Distraught, I left her in the restaurant by herself and did not pay my portion of the bill. She later Venmo'd me asking for the money. She told my parents, who then called me to their house, telling me how disappointed in me they are for not supporting my sister's relationship with Ben. They brought up the fact that because she had cancer as a teenager, she never learned proper social etiquette, and has a hard time meeting people. I don't buy this, in part because I've seen her socialize just fine, and since we spent a good chunk of the time she was sick together, that would also mean that I should have bad social skills as well, by that logic. They then told me that if I don't accept my sister and Ben's relationship, they may have to go no contact with me. I reminded them that I'm also their daughter and they should understand my point of view, but they are adamant that this is about me being jealous of her. For the record, I'm not jealous of her. I'm not upset that Ben picked her over me. I'm sad about the end of the relationship and do feel betrayed, but Lord knows that I don't want to be with a cheater. What I'm upset about is the fact that my sister chose Ben over me. That she slept with Ben knowing he and I were in a long-term, committed relationship, and continues to be with him knowing how much it hurts me. Now no one in my immediate family is talking to me, and I'm getting messages from aunts and uncles and cousins telling me that I'm an asshole and a selfish bitch. Edit. Thank you everyone so much for your comments. This has gotten more attention than I expected and I am having trouble keeping up, so if I don't say thank you, then thank you. I've been given a lot of food for thought. TBH, while I've had moments where I've been resentful or upset about my teenage years, I've always thought that I did the right thing for my sister and for my family. And that time wasn't all miserable. I was very close to my sister and we made things as fun as we could. But I didn't think of it as an abdication of my parents' responsibilities or that they were doing wrong by me, which many of you pointed out. I definitely have a lot to think about. Thank you again for making me feel less crazy about all of this. Update, sometimes you can only laugh. Just got off the phone with my cousin who saw this post and said he could explain a few things. I asked him why he was on Reddit instead of school, he asked me why I was on Reddit instead of work, and I said touché. He told me that after my conversation with my mom, she went to his house and talked to my aunt. And here's the deal. Turns out my sister is not only in a relationship with Ben but 4 months pregnant. Which means she and Ben were ducking for longer than I had even guessed. Apparently my parents are so adamant that I forgive her because I'm already ruining their experience of their first grandchild. That's right, I'm less important than my stepmom posting ultrasounds to Facebook. This is where we're at. Anyhow, I called out of work sick the rest of the day and am going to drink a lot of alcohol. Like, a lot of alcohol. And then start thinking about what the duck I'm going to do. NTA. Your parents are enablers. Cancer as a teen did not shrink-wrap her and isolate her from the entirety of human mores and values forever and ever, amen. From what you describe, it sounds disturbingly like you have been deemed the cannon fodder of the family. Take some time for yourself, put them on the back burner. Is it just cancer or any potentially life-threatening disease that gives an exemption? I really need to know because I might have behaved unnecessarily for many years. SNTA. I could have died when I was 8 and spent a week in a hospital on 4 antibiotics. I'm not dead because my mom mentioned that I had chills with my fever, which are apparently normal for adults but only occur with children if they are in pretty bad shape. I had a fever of over 104 by the time they got me to the hospital. While I certainly wouldn't compare that to having cancer, I was sick for a whole week. I think I was out longer when I had chicken pox, but yeah, this is baffling. Cancer survivor doesn't equal cannot be held accountable for anything hurtful they do for the rest of their lives, especially when it was almost a third of her life ago and she's an adult now. I'm guessing this sub is skewed, but a whole lot of people seem to not know that sleeping with partners of siblings and friends is a no-no unless you clear it with them first. If you know, they've been broken up for several years and it was mostly amicable. I was cheated on with someone that I actually defended to others. We were kind of friends, though I was closer to her boyfriend. They were polyamorous. My relationship was not, and my boyfriend and her became best friends. I honestly was uncomfortable with their friendship because she'd made some veiled comments that were basically about us joining in their relationship, but only when my boyfriend was around. I didn't think too much of it until I later learned that she made those comments when it was just them two, but they all but stopped once their friendship began. About a month after they became friends, they started an emotional affair that lasted a month and ended with one physical situation which made him feel guilty enough to tell me. The girl made posts on an app that very few knew her account name about how she wanted things to continue but didn't want me to know, and tried to convince boyfriend not to tell me. I did my damnedest not to hate her because I was working things out with my boyfriend until I thought more about those posts and just the fact that her apologies seemed hollow. Her getting pregnant from it was my biggest fear for months. I couldn't imagine the pain of him not only cheating with someone as close as my sister, of whom I put my teenage life on hold for, but also getting her pregnant, and the way things were for me. I went to the mental unit of the hospital for a night because I was worried that I might lose control of myself and do something stupid, not suicide. It was one of the 2 times in life that I got the urge to cut. I've never done it but was clearly worried I might. This was super long and I honestly don't remember the original point, but Op shouldn't even consider herself anywhere near an R. I'd tell the family to shove it. You are choosing to go no contact with them because they obviously don't care about our mental or emotional well-being. NTA. I don't mean to be insulting when I say this, but it is absolutely wild to me that you went to the mental unit of the hospital for a night because you thought you might be cut. It was just so common in my social circles that it was just kind of not even a big deal. Your way seems better. Oh, have seen so many people who survived childhood cancer who were dicks because they had no discipline because they might die. And then get always to have it that way. And no one likes them in adulthood, but they're enablers. Op, your parents made you work a job, give up all healthy outlets and be responsible for helping pay your sister's medical bills. You need to take a break and set boundaries. Your parents don't get to decide you have to have anything to do with your cheating ex and your sister. Your sister running their grandparents is deciding she wants to sleep with your boyfriend. She is not unable to be aware sleeping with your sisters so is wrong. This is where I'm at. My mother always coddled my youngest sibling and refused to call out his bad behavior. I refuse to have anything more to do with him because we're adults and I don't have to put up with his behavior. My mother tried to force it, and it didn't work, and I finally asked why she let him away with so much when my other sibling and I had rules that we had to follow. He nearly died twice from severe asthma. Yeah. That answer didn't work so well, as my reply was Kid 1 had to be life-flighted at 5 and I was warned he may never come home. Kid 2 spent his first week in the NICU unable to breathe and with severe jaundice. Both of them have rules they have to follow because nearly dying as children doesn't excuse behavior. She hasn't tried to get us together since. The audacity of her parents to think that Op should get over it and accept the new relationship. She walked in on her partner and sister. I'm sure stepmom wouldn't take it lightly if she walked in on dad doing his sister-in-law. Cancer schmancer. Not only that, but excusing it because she never learned social etiquette. I'm pretty sure even a child who was raised by wolves could figure out that ducking your sister's boyfriend is a no-no. What you all are saying here is true from an objective moral standpoint, but there is something deeper that is going on here. It actually does not matter whether what Op's sister is doing is right or wrong, and bringing up her past cancer really is just an excuse to keep everything, aka peace in the family, together at this point. Op added that their sister is 4 months pregnant. From the parents' perspectives, this is something that cannot be changed. They are having this cheating as a son-in-law and a grandchild on the way. So to them, logically, the only thing they can do now is change Op. Come up with whatever excuse and gaslighting that works with their coping mechanism that can mend the narrative to keep the family together. This is why while homogeneous societies that highly value the community have a ton of upsides and can be generally very comfortable to live in, you will often find many depressed outliers that have been sacrificed to keep the peace. Update: AITA for not accepting my sister's relationship with my ex despite her having cancer as a teenager? Update original post. I was asked for an update and thus, here I am. 2 things to clarify before I update. I didn't have a shitty childhood. The favoritism started when my sister was diagnosed. I moved out soon after and have been pretty independent since then. Not saying that how my parents treated me during those years were a-okay, but I wasn't Cinderella. I did not drink myself into oblivion. I had 2 white wine spritzers. But I appreciate the concern from folks. Anyhow, the update. I got in touch with my sister and asked her to meet up again at a park, no bill involved. I asked her if she was pregnant and she told me the truth. She said she wanted us to still be in each other's lives and that she wanted me to be in her babies. A Redditor, and I forget who, I'm sorry, mentioned that she may ask me to be the godmother and that person was correct. But as many of you pointed out, if I didn't cut her off, I'd just become her bank and daycare employee. So I told her I could no longer be in her life. And I left her crying on a park bench and felt like the shittiest person in the world. I emailed my parents and told them how betrayed I felt and that I'd be cutting off contact with them. To my stepmom's credit, she apologized. She explained that she never thought my sister would live to have kids and that she let her emotion over that get the better of her. Understandable. My dad said nothing, which is honestly what sucked the worst about all of this. Ben tried messaging me from a burner account for the first time since the breakup, but I blocked him without reading it. I didn't go nuclear and post the story to Facebook as some suggested, but I sent an email to the extended family members who I care about. I explained the situation and how I'd be distancing myself from my family. Some have made it an us versus them situation, and as much as I appreciate the support, feeling like I'm in some valiant battle just makes me more tired. So I haven't been talking to much of anyone in my family. I feel lonely and crappy, but I think I made the right decision. Anyhow, not the most exciting update in the world, but hopefully everyone knows that I'm not dead. I do really appreciate the support I've gotten, it made me smile during a really shitty time. And hey, if anyone in the greater Boston area wants an extra guest at Thanksgiving, let me know. TLDR, ended up cutting off my family. I'm in Boston. And my family loves to have strangers in their homes. We are Dominican. DM me. Upvoting caused a Dominican Thanksgiving sounds bomb. Lucky enough to have been to a friend's Thanksgiving who is Dominican, not only was the food just amazing, it was a ducking party. Huge lovable families that treat you like their own from the moment you set foot in the house. One of the best holiday experiences for me. Lol, Latin people treat strangers better than family. My parents were always on their best behavior around our friends. They wanted to be seen as gracious hosts, so out would come the finest food and drinks and the best jokes XD. I'm sorry things turned out this way and that you aren't a priority to your parents. But seriously, does she not realize that? A, you and Ben were still sleeping together during those months and he could have just been stringing her along. B, has she never been in a relationship? How would she feel if you had done that to her? C, she can always wonder now if Ben is cheating on her with someone else, but it would be karma. Ultimately, I hope your parents realize that you are just as important as she is, and their behavior is pretty shitty. Good luck. A, according to her, neither wanted to hurt me by telling me, which, lol. B, she's had a few boyfriends but they've only lasted a month or two. C, for her sake, I hope he doesn't. D, my stepmom told me that they'll welcome me back with open arms when I choose to come back. I'm just not sure that I'll come back. They won't be giving up on my sister. That's the fun part of giving up on them. You don't have to care anymore. You don't have to feel hurt or play games. You get to just be. That's what you will start to feel when this all normalizes. Just give it time. Find a new hobby or dust an old one off. Make something of your complete own that none of them were invited or included in. That will be your place of solitude. The rock that you set up shop on. This is great advice, curved up arrow, curved up arrow, curved up arrow. I hope you find peace up. And people who appreciate you, purple heart, purple heart. Your family is ridiculous. Once the whole story comes out and they will look like trash for how they are treating you. Oh, it's out. I didn't post on Facebook but other family have. It's a total dumpster fire. I deleted my account. My husband walked away from his toxic family after we'd been dating for about a year. My relationship with my family was jarring to him in the beginning, simply because we respected each other. The longer he was exposed to that, the more he realized his family had some problems. Long story short, his family went for the nuclear option, and we eventually had to contact the police. When he went no contact with them initially, he thought he'd eventually reconnect. At first he imagined it'd be within a year. Then maybe within a couple of years. Then maybe within a couple of years, if they agreed to do it via family therapy. Eventually, he reached a place where he has no desire to have them in his life ever again. The longer my husband went without his family in his life, the more he realized how toxic it had been. They had created an unhealthy narrative in his mind, fueled by guilt, self-doubt, and a sense of duty. I knew him as a friend first, and I couldn't understand why he didn't have the self-confidence I would have expected for someone with his character and achievements. Being around his family cleared up that confusion, that's for sure. It's been 8 years since he cut off his family, and I can't even begin to convey just how much he has blossomed. We've made major life changes he said he never would have had the confidence to try for before. He has reached a level in his career he never thought possible. If I could wish for anything for you, I'd wish for you to find the same level of freedom and happiness my husband has. It wasn't an easy path for him, free of pain. I'm not going to pretend your path forward will be a success, only one either. Understanding and coming to terms with how much his family had wronged him took time. If you can, look for a therapist. My husband was initially very hesitant about talking to someone, but when he finally did, it was one of those "why didn't I do this sooner" moments. I know I'm just a random internet stranger, but I have to say, I am so damn proud of you. This may be the weakest you've felt, I couldn't say, but I will say that your inner strength shines through as bright as any summer day. Edit, deleted and reposted here after replying to wrong comment. You my friend are smart and funny and can write the shit out of a story. Pick a friend to take to Cancun for Thanksgiving and another to take to the Bahamas for Christmas. Write a NewYorkTimes.com modern love submission and then write a screenplay. Buy a gorgeous summer place in Northampton with the proceeds and use it as a holiday getaway with your chosen family. Retire early and wear only white cashmere. You deserve all of it. You know what's funny? I read this and was immediately like, can't travel, my sister's immunocompromised, but then I realized, wait. I'm vaccinated and my sister is no longer in my life, so I can travel. I can go wherever the hell I want. Thank you. I'm going to go to Santa Fe, which is a place I always wanted to go to and my ex never wanted to go to. And I am going to go to the Georgia O'Keeffe Museum and then scream in the desert for a while. Not sure about the rest of that, as I could not broadcast my public humiliation in the New York Times, but the travel thing. That's a start. I am so sorry that your family has betrayed you the way they did. I am happy that you decided to cut them out of your life. The absence of your presence will forever be a reminder of what your stepsister and ex decided to do and your parents' betrayal. Unfortunately, I have read multiple Reddit posts with people in the exact same situation as you. They're going to try to contact you as the years pass and hope that time will make you forget. Just a reminder that you can move on without forgiving or forgetting. They will also try to hold that child over your head. The baby didn't do anything though, she could have had an aunt. However, just know that your ex and stepsister was the reason the child doesn't have an aunt. The child didn't do anything wrong, but neither did you. Children should never have to be burdened with their parents' sins, but that's not how the real world works. This is the quandary. People being like, I hope they cheat on each other and are miserable and blah blah blah, but the only thing that makes any of this pain even remotely worthwhile is if that kid is extremely happy. I feel sick knowing that I'm not going to be a part of their life. And I'm not going to hope that things go south for my sister and Ben as revenge when that would cause that kid distress. I don't even know if I'm even really responding to what you're saying. I should probably just go to bed. We hope you have enjoyed today's episode. Please comment, like and subscribe. Cheers. Have a wonderful day or night, wherever you are.